Okay, hello, greetings and welcome everyone. All right, today's topic. I've been practicing this since the 80s. So it's many decades I've been working with Hermetics, meditation, Qigong. And I've been contemplating what is the most important techniques for meditation that a person can learn. What is the foundation? What makes you more intuitive? What allows you to get into the zone within whatever art or sport you're doing? And there's one quality, and it's learning to separate consciousness from objects. So the first exercise in Franz Baden's book, where you're observing the rising and falling way of thought, brings your consciousness to resonance with there's an observer and there's sense objects. There's thought forms, there's feelings, there's a body, there's phenomena around you, there's an environment, there's empty space, and there's consciousness. And how you separate your consciousness from that is the platform of everything. This learning that you are not your thoughts, you are not your emotions, you are not your body, you are pure consciousness. And when the consciousness learns to separate itself from the thinking and feeling in the body, it connects to its intuitive self, into its higher self. And the greater that separation, which basically means the more empty your mind becomes, the closer you get into the proximity of infinity. And infinity essentially is the universal mind, or the concept of God. There's no other way to attain it other than separating the consciousness from the things the mind is sticking to. Because when the mind touches something, it creates static. It creates a vibration and a fixed state of being locked into the thought, emotional, physical realm. The moment consciousness lets go of what it's paying attention to and just separates, then time releases. Your awareness's connection to the limitation of time starts to break down, everything slows down. Your space starts to break apart and your mind becomes much more vast. And these are measurable within your experience. How synced are you to time, and how synced are you to the limitations of space within your body? As you start creating a separation, you're slowing and releasing time, and you're releasing space, and those two qualities bring you into the proximity of emptiness. So the more you start getting that separation between consciousness and objects, the deeper your sense of connection to infinity becomes, and that's the path. Now, when you look back from there, let's say the phone rings. If you're separated and you have an open space, your intuition can function and go, oh, that's so-and-so who's calling me. That's this person who's calling me, or that person. Because your intuition can function. But if your mind is in the intellect, it'll be looking at who could be calling me at this time, and it would go into an intellectual pattern. So your intuition isn't functioning, you'll be referencing past experience. And yes, you might be right and be able to predict who's calling you, but that's from the intellect, not from the intuition. Now, any form of, if a tarot reader, for instance, is doing a reading for someone, they have to get in the zone. They have to separate their awareness from the intellectual, astral, physical self, and tune in through spirit, through their intuitive system, to do the tarot reading. If a person's going for a run and they get into the zone, what happens? Their sense of time slows down, their space opens up, they get in the zone of the run and they get this endorphin rush and they feel really good as they're running. Because they're not clinging to the physical, their spirit is free and open. So there's all different types of states of being in the zone where the mental body releases time and space during an activity or during meditation. Now, whichever application you're in, if you're an artist and painting, you get in the zone to let the art flow through you, to let music flow through you. If you're an inventor, to see your creation inventions, to see what's the next step of evolution within something, you've got to get into the zone. And when you're in the zone, your unconscious organizing power amplifies. So this unconscious organizing power allows you to go to your highest state of performance, or your peak performance. It allows you to do things better because your unconscious is very, very powerful. Now, how do we practice it? So you sit down comfortably on a couch or any place of comfort. You don't want to sit like a yogi where I'm straight, everything's perfect, and you're in a state of tension, stress, and anxiety, trying to keep a good posture and your legs are hurting. That's not going to get you in the zone. That's just going to put you in a state of pain. For meditation is for liberation, to free oneself, not to bind oneself to a meditation posture. Meditation postures aren't useful until you can transcend them. So just flop on the couch, just sit down, get comfortable, any place in a hammock, wherever you want, and just quietly observe your thoughts. And you'll notice that when you touch a thought, you go into a story. So let's say you remember, I've got to pay the bill, and your mind touches that, it goes into the emotion and the action of what you have to do to pay the bill. And then you realize, I'm not meant to be touching my thoughts. You step back and you observe, and that memory of the things you have to do just wanders along and disappears. You become an observer, not engaging. Now, as you observe the rising form of thoughts and feelings and body, the realization, I'm not this body, I'm not these feelings, I'm not these thoughts, I am pure consciousness. Now, when you say to yourself, I'm pure consciousness, consciousness is infinite. So you move to, I am infinity. And what this does, it signals to the layers of your unconscious, of the body, to the layers unconscious of the astral, the layers unconscious of the spirit, that, I've got a direction, that's where I want to go. I want to experience infinity. So when you simply make the statement, I am infinite, your system goes, we got to detach ourselves from static in order to experience infinity. You unconsciously start organizing yourself in a physical sense, an astral sense, in a consciousness sense, to touch that. So everything becomes more quiet. And it's very similar to when a person prays. When a person enters into prayer, the body becomes quiet, the feelings become quiet, the mind becomes quiet, because they're engaging in a higher aspect of themselves. They're engaging their deity, they're engaging their concept of God. So this quietening of everything, you want to be very conscious of it. You want to be conscious of the letting go of the physical, astral, and mental states, so that when you're in that state, you're not on a merry-go-round where you're just taken for a trip like someone on a drug and they have no control or choice in what they're doing. You're in perfect control of what you pay attention to, what you look through. And this is an interesting phenomenon that takes place. You look through things when you're in the zone, not at things. And this is a primary difference. When you look at something, you start analyzing it. When you look through something, you intuitively know it. So your intuition begins to switch on. When someone says something to you and you look through their words, you get a knowing of what they actually mean. Are they being honest? Is that true? Is that false? Your intuitive guidance system has all these layers that are deeper than your normal intellect. And when you get into the zone and look through things, then the quality of experience in life increases. So you go for a walk in the park, you get in the zone, and you look through the normal process of just walking in a green space to experiencing nature, feeling nature, becoming a part of nature. You feel amazing. You go, this feels so good. Your mind relaxes, your feelings relax, your body relaxes, and you feel nourished and healed by nature. So this getting in the zone and stepping out of your identifying as I am a body, I am feelings, I am thoughts, and getting into the space of pure consciousness, and that pure consciousness is infinite, and then reinstating I am infinite in your meditation, and your unconscious layers lead you to experience infinity. It's hardwired. You return to source. We all do at some point in the future. We go back to where we came from. And that whole evolutionary process of how everything came into creation, how it returns back, it's a cycle. So we came from the infinite, we return to the infinite. And when you touch that infinity, that's when your values begin to change. And we're not talking about values of, oh, this is good, this is bad, or this is this political party or that political party. We're not talking about those sort of values. We're talking about prioritizing the higher part of you that moves from one incarnation to the next, that changes within the spirit are much more important than changes within the body or the feelings or your normal consciousness. How do you align those three bodies of physical, emotional, mental, so that the spirit evolves, that it moves forward to a higher state of evolution? That value becomes more important than, oh, I've got to make more money, I've got to work really hard, I've got to, ground myself in the physical world. That becomes less important. And as people get older, they tend to recognize this naturally, that what are their values for living and for their spiritual evolution. Now this becomes much more obvious when you get into that zone. That zone is a state of happiness. You're free, you're liberated from the physical, you're liberated from emotions, you're liberated from mental states of static, and you feel free. And that's why people get addicted to sports where they get into the zone, like running and skiing and all these different sports where they have to have a high degree of concentration. Because when that high degree of concentrated state, the spirit is in the present moment, and even though they're engaging the body and the feelings and the consciousness in a very focused way, time has to slow down when you're very concentrated. Space needs to open when you're very, very concentrated. The observer has to be very present to do what you're doing. So the method that you choose to get into the zone is up to your area of interest. But simply sitting down and observing the rising, falling wave of thoughts will get a separation of consciousness from the thoughts, the feelings, and the body. So when I used to teach Kung Fu, I would get students to do this exercise and then bridge it into their martial training. So I would get one person to throw a punch, and another person would parry the punch. And we'd do a loop of parry and punch. And as you're going through this parry punch routine, you go, okay, I've got the rhythm going. Now I can step my mind into this larger space around me and my training partner and observe. And when you're observing, what ends up happening is going, oh, there's going to be a change in pattern, that instead of blocking this way, I'll have to block that way or that way. And there's an intuitive knowing what's coming in the moment. It's sort of, you're in the right place at the right time. Your timing comes from the spirit and the inner knowing rather than from the intellect, from the emotions, from the body's sense of survival. It comes from a deeper layer. It comes from within one's spiritual intuitive guidance system. So when you're observing yourself doing a routine with a training partner, that observation puts you in the zone, and when you're in that sense of your mind occupying a larger space, you become very intuitive to what your partner's going to do. And it becomes a lot of fun because it's like a perfect dance between you and your partner. So you're not competing with them anymore, you're just synchronized with them. And they're trying to hit you and you're just in the right place in the right time, and they're unable to hit you. So you're not in competition with the person in front of you, you're in harmony with the person in front of you. So they're unable to hurt you, hit you, kick you, punch you, and so forth. So these types of strategies for developing to get into the zone are all amplified by sitting meditation, observing the rising and falling of your thoughts, your feelings, and your body. Now get creative with it. Go from sitting in a chair and laying in a hammock. Then you might use a more firm posture and go, oh, I'm observing my body's hurting because I'm in this very, very traditional posture and my legs are crossed. And then you separate consciousness from the pain because your legs are going to hurt. Your blood circulation is going to suffer. You'll be stretching your back and spine and so forth. And as you do those things, you observe and let go. You release attachment to the pain. You release attachment to the sensations. You release attachment to the identity of the person who's sitting in that posture. And you just let consciousness expand. Now that's how a meditator would go about it. But is that the best way? Maybe. For some people it is. But for most people, it's engaging in something they really enjoy. So if you're into mountain biking, That's where you get in the zone. You observe your environment, you observe the balance, you observe the terrain, and as you're mountain biking, you get into the zone, and you know you're doing it right when you get a high out of it. You go, wow, that was so much fun. And you get a chemical thrill inside your system. Now you're on the right track. Okay, so out of all these decades and decades of practice, this is the foundation. If you're doing healing, that's the foundation. You've got to separate the intuitive or consciousness from all these other layers to intuitively diagnose a patient and then bring healing energy through and heal them. Whatever your thing is, whatever your sport is, to get in the zone requires a separation of consciousness from clinging to thoughts, clinging to feelings, clinging to body, to observing the intending mind do things, while observing mind observes, releases, and corrects. You make observations about your body, your structure, your posture, and you improve it because the intender and the observer are separate. If the observer locks into the intender, you have no self-awareness. If they're separate, you have high self-awareness. And it doesn't take too much research to know what is the best way to do something in your chosen sport or art. You can learn the science, separate the observer from the intender, and then implement that science and amplify your speed of growth in what you're doing. Always remembering that you are infinite, and however you choose to practice, concentrate, and enjoy getting in the zone, that you're moving towards an infinite state, because this is what sparks spiritual evolution, and it's your path. It's not a yogic path, it's not a Hermetic path, it's not a path from any particular religious system. It's something you create for yourself, for your spiritual growth and evolution, that your spirit gets a high out of it, your body gets a high, your feelings get a high, your mind gets a high, and it goes, I love concentrating in this particular way, and then you move towards infinity through that personal joy, that personal method that you choose. You just need to separate consciousness from the objects, concentrate, let everything slow down, expand space through your activity, and move towards that infinity consciousness. You just need to say, I am infinite, before you start the process, and it activates an unconscious mechanism in the body, in the feeling, in the mind to move you towards that state. Make it fun. Don't burden yourself with difficulty. Just enjoy getting into the zone, ride that wave of euphoria, and concentrate through it and apply the principles. Okay, I hope this helps answer some of the questions that have been coming through. And good luck with your path, and see you on the next video.